Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the 14th class. Like I mentioned, I will try, today is Wednesday. So we will have a class on Thursday and Friday. Probably tomorrow we're gonna wrap up with the MLO activities, and then we're gonna go into the ethics, and then we're gonna have the DFPI California only 2 hours class. Okay, and then after that, we should wrap it up by next Thursday. So I think I'll take a day off on Friday, and then after that, if everybody is ready, I need to have at least 2 or 3 people that complete a course before I'm hosting an examination prep class. Okay, so hopefully it shouldn't be long after. I'll probably give you like the 1 or 2 weeks to finish your online school, and then let me know. I know that Tao is going to be finishing maybe this week, and I hope that somebody going to take a course and then wrap it up. Then I'll host the prep class. Okay. Oh, okay. It is 20 hours. Awesome. Okay, then hey, at least Tao, once Tao done, then I hope more people gonna finish the course, and then I'll just train everybody how to do the test. Okay. All right, so let's move on. So today class, we're gonna focusing on the continuation of the MLO activities. Okay. So one of the last class we're talking about the whole MLO process, right? Including start out with the application, and then you're gonna review the document. You do a credit check, right? You have an underwriter. Okay, let's see what folks saying. Yeah. Okay, underwriter, and then all the way to settlement closing, right? Funding, settlement, closing. So today we're gonna go over a little bit in details about the application. Okay, the loan inquiry. So meaning that somebody is want to start the loan application, and then submit some of the information, and then we're gonna process it, and then we make sure all the information are correct. Okay, so the application form is what we call is a 1003. Okay, in the 1003 application, there are several sections to it, and believe it or not, nowadays that brokers or lenders, they have a web-based, a web form that the borrower can enter the information. Some of the information that the borrower enter probably not 100% accurate. So after they complete with the online form, right, they're gonna submit it, and then the system gonna ask the borrower to upload documents. Okay, we talked about that in the last class. So what kind of document? Pay stub, bank statement, W-2, tax form, and any debts, liability, credit card, statements and things like that, or even any personal loan, right? So once we have all that, we're going to go back and check on the application to see if the information, the data that the borrower enter on the form reflects to the real document, right? So that way, we want to make sure everything is correct. And then, believe it or not, once we verify that, right, each document we're going to mark it off and say, okay, we're done with this. We review it. We move on to the next part using these section here in the in the 1003. Remember, the application form number is 1003. Okay. If it's on the if it's on the test, they have 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, and 1005. You need to know which number it is to pick the right answer. So the section 1 in 1003 is including all the borrower information. Okay, including name, birthday, the address, age, sex, what else? The current and the past, addresses, right? And so anything related, to the borrower information. And then section 2 cover all the financial assets, right, including income, debts, liabilities, and any additional child alimony support, and then all that, right? Everything needs to be filled out. And some people may have a W-2 income. Somebody also have a rental income, as well as the business income, right? And then the third section is the asset. Okay, section 3 is assets or own real estate, right? If this person have a rental property, if this person currently have a primary residence, because you can buy the next rental property, or you can buy the next primary residence and then turn the current resident or current property into a rental, right? So, and then you have an own real estate in section 3. Then eventually, what kind of loan that you currently have, like any mortgage loan for that property, the tax information, property tax, home insurance, what else? And any expenses like HOA, MLO. Okay, HOA is a homeowner association, right? Sometimes the property is in a community that they need like some maintenance for the street, the park, the parking lot, the swimming pool, the rec center, all that require some funding to do, and they collect HOA, they collect the association fee to support all those expenses. Okay, and if the property happened to be in a recently developed community, right, and then that community, that area may need like paving a new road, new shopping mall, right? New rec center, new park, new school, all that, right? And eventually they need like a bond, or they need like a bill, right? That bill eventually, if it's passed by the voters, right, and then it's going to collect some some bonds that they're going to pay 10, 20, 25, 30 years, and then anybody live in that area need to pay for that bond. Okay, and that bond is eventually what is called as a MLO. Okay, MLO is the fee that you pay for the community surrounding you for that particular area that has yet fully developed. Okay, so MLO is eventually going to end sometime 25 years, 30 years, right? But even when it's end, the amount that you pay to it maybe not be like in the thousand, but eventually it's going to drop it down to the hundreds, right? Because the bond is always introduced every year, right? When they the local government, the city pass any bill, then eventually it's going to add more bond, and you're going to pay more money. Okay, some bond they say, okay, they need money for school, they need money for the teacher, they need money for road development or whatever, right? And eventually everybody in that area are going to share that cost, and that is what is called a MLO. Okay, so on the form 1003, it also have the section 5 declarations. In this declaration, it's also tell you declare anything about yourself, right, as a borrower. Okay, and then the acknowledgement agreement saying that, okay, I'm borrow the money to buy the primary home, right, and I acknowledge whatever the information that I enter here is truthful and complete and correct. Okay, and section 7 is that, hey, are you a military member? Are you in the military? Are you serving? Are you a retired? Are you a reservist? Right. So that section is mainly for the military. Section number 7. Section 8 is about demographic information, right? Anything regarding to the area, about your race and all that. Okay. And number 9, section 9 is our section, right? Section 9 is about the loan information, about the loan originator, the broker, the lender, and all that. Okay, so there are 9 sections total on the 1003. Okay. So in the loan inquiry, right, and you have to submit some statement for the some statements so that the loan processor, the loan originator can review them. You can submit the the checking account, the saving account, any cash on hand that you have, right? Any sources of funding, HELOC, or on anything, like, or even a brokerage account, 401k, right? A stock account, right? Anything that that you have that you have to provide, so that you can show it as a proof of fund, or you can show it that you have money to deposit, for an amount of the deposit. What is called as an earnest money deposit, which is once the offer get accepted, within 3 business days, you need to bring in the EMD. EMD stand for earnest money deposit, right? And that is the amount that you specify on the purchase contract, on the offer, right? And then you say, okay, I'm willing to put in the EMD 15,000, 20,000, or 3% of the entire purchase price. So if the purchase price is $1 million, then meaning that if you say I'm going to put in 3%, meaning you're going to put in $30,000. Okay, and then you have to show the banking statement, saving, checking, and the cash that you have at home. Well, I don't see much that people say I have cash at home, right? If you have cash at home, eventually you're gonna make sure that money get into your bank account, right? Verify the cash saved at home. So those kind of be tough to verify, right? But even if you have like $1 million of cash at home and you can show, you can use that money to buy a home too. Okay, as long as you can prove that cash is legit, that cash is your cash, right? Then you can use that cash. Okay, cash accumulated with the private saving clubs and requirement for private saving clubs. Okay, handling the credit report discrepancy, right? During the process of loan processing, you read the credit report, and then on the credit report, there's some issue with it, right? You remember there's a law, right? There's an act that that we have to go into those reports, working with the credit bureaus, working with the credit agency, try to resolve the discrepancy, the discrepancy, deficiencies, or any issue that found on the report, right? So that we can bring up the credit score and all that. Okay, like I say, you should dispute any issue with the credit report, and the creditor as well as the credit agency will work with you to resolve that, right? And if you recall, there's a law that say that when you're reporting it, right, the credit bureau has 30 days to investigate it, and then whether yay or nay, they're going to give you the finding in writing. Say, okay, yeah, this is an issue, we fix it. If not, this is not an issue, then you at least the creditor, the credit bureau have to investigate within 30 days and give you the answer for that. Okay, and here is also say the credit bureau must send notices of the correction to anyone who got your report in the past 6 months, right? So if any bank that deny you because of the credit deficiency, then the credit bureau, after they fix it, they will have to send it out to whoever run your either soft pull or hard pull, right? They're gonna have to report to those lenders, creditor that who pull your credit, to tell them there's some discrepancy and we'll fix it. Okay, and also send notice of the correction to anyone who got a copy of for employment purposes. Right? Sometimes an employer, they do run your credit check, right? And then when they see some discrepancy like this, right? So it's a required for the credit bureau, when they fix something, they need to notify the employer. Maybe, who knows, they're gonna save you a job, right? Because maybe you got denied to work for company ABC, but because your credit report, tells something incorrect, so you work with them and now they correct it, so they notify the employer. So information provided to a borrower in response to a loan inquiry. So the borrower go into the website, fill out the application, submit all the documents, right? In return, right, the loan processor, the loan officer, the lender need to give something back, including disclosure and stuff, right? So information provided to a borrower, including property and loan information, mortgage loan information, title information, qualifying the borrower, as well as the credit score. Here is say credit score. It doesn't say credit report. Okay, keep that in mind. The lender, the LO, only give back the credit score, not the credit report. Why? You remember I discussed this in the past class, right? because the credit report, the entire report, belong to who? The credit bureaus, right? It's not yours to give to the borrower. The borrower pays now $70 to run the credit check, right? Just to kind of view the credit report, not to print and to keep. Okay, so keep that in mind. You don't give the credit report to the borrower. You only get the credit score, the number, the 3 numbers, right? You give it to the borrower. Okay. Okay. We talk about the source of fund, which could include cash, saving, checking. Okay, stock, liquidation. If it's stock and if you hold a stock, the quantity of a stock, then sometimes you may have to sell the stock to liquidate it, get the real cash, get the real money so that you can put as the source of funding, and then eventually wire that money into escrow to close the transaction. Okay, borrower who have like safe cash at home and are able to adequately demonstrate the ability to do so or to prove, right, are permitted to to use the money for as a source of fund. Okay, money must be verified. Borrower must provide satisfactory evidence of the ability to accumulate such saving. Because some people that they go, let's say they are a nail technician, right? They got or barista or waiter, waitress, right? Sometimes they got tips, cash tips, and they instead of putting in the bank, right? They don't trust the bank. They put it at home in a piggy bank or in a set deposit or whatever. Okay, so they can show that, they can prove that these cash are legit. Then they should be able to use that as a source of funding. Okay, and okay, I think we talk about this: earnest money deposit, saving checking account, cash save at home, verifying cash save at home. Okay, requirement for private saving club. Okay, anyway, so beside cash, beside the money that you have in the bank, right? The borrower can also accept gifts from family and friends. They say family, but sometimes people just say, that's my cousin. Okay, they give me this money. That's my in-law. Okay, they give me this money. So anything that give to the borrower as a gift, when they say as a gift, meaning that money will not return. Okay, you don't have to pay back. Okay, but life is not that always black or white. There's some gray area in there. Right, so gift fund money has to come from an approved source. Restriction for who can donate. Gift fund money has to come from an approved source, not just anyone can donate. Right, an approved source mainly any family members. Okay, so right here some acceptable donors included the borrower's a relative, an employer. Even the employer, they may have a program say, okay, I support my employee by give $20,000 as a gift to buy a home. Well, that employer is so nice, right? You're from California, you move to Texas, you move here, you work here, I'll give you $30,000 for down payment. Okay, so it's a gift from the company as well as a labor union. Okay, a close friend, like I say, with a clearly identified and documented interest in the borrower, close friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, best friend, bestie, right? And anybody like that can use as the source of a gift as well. Charitable organization, any organization that say, we want to give some money to this poor family. Now they are, able to buy a home, right? But as a community, we come together. We give some money to this family to for some down payment or deposit. Okay. Even the government agency or the public entity that has a program providing home ownership assistance to low and moderate family. So there are a lot of programs throughout different city, different state that they have grants that they can give to the buyer, the borrower, so that they can use that grant and then down or put in as a earnest money deposit. Okay, there's so many programs out there, but you need to be qualified to get those grants. Okay, and you have to do some research for the for the local branch, local city, and just have to find. I know there's a program that going came out last year. It's a Cal FHA, and this year they're going to come out again. Then whoever qualified, they may get the qualification for 20% down payment. Okay, 20% down payment, and as long as you follow the program guideline, the borrower doesn't need to pay back as well. Okay, so they're a great program for assistance. Donors cannot have an interest in the sale of the property, meaning that the donor say, I'll give $100,000 to my friend, but when the house sell, the friend not going to get back 100,000. If it's happened that the government or whoever find out, then it's maybe an issue. Okay. The donor cannot be the seller of the property. However, seller concessions are allowed, right? You remember the maximum number of percentage for seller concession, right? The real estate agent, cannot be. However, they cannot just say, okay, I give you as a gift. Right? Here's a gift letter, and here's the money I'm going to wire it in, right? Real estate agent cannot do that. Right? Seller cannot do that. However, during the process of escrow, they can say, okay, I'm a realtor. I want to credit back to the borrower, $2,000 for closing costs. Okay, that can be done too, through a proper documentation. The builder, even the builder donor too, can give some incentives, right? Builder, we're talking about incentives. The builder have like 100 homes on the market for a while. Nobody buying it. They say, okay, we give you $30,000 for your upgrade. We give you $30,000 for your closing costs. We give you $30,000 if you do loan with us, right? Those are things that's allowed, okay? Or any associated entity. The source must be verifiable, okay? The lender needs to be able to verify. So let's say if your auntie give you $100,000, sometimes the lender say, okay, I need the bank statement from your auntie. Okay, just want to make sure that that money is legit. Okay, it's not from an organization that may be doing a money laundering, right? And say these donors need to write a gift letter, right, for any amount, and to whom that is given to. Okay, so it's need a gift letter so that the underwriter, the lender, approve it. Okay, so loan inquiry process, including the 6 steps. Submit a loan application, right? We talk about this. Home inspection, home appraisal, process and underwriting, loan approval, and then closing, right? We go in detail about these steps yesterday, okay? Form 1003 got including property address, estimated value of the property that going to buy, name of the borrower, the social security number, the borrower income, the loan amount, right? And also any liabilities as well. And there are required disclosure that must be provided to a borrower in response to a loan inquiry, right? Per the HMDA or per the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, right? All lenders must provide all collected data on all application and report it annually or quarterly starting 2020. Okay, starting 2020, like all this due to the HMDA Act, the lender who collect this information need to report quarterly. Mortgage brokers are exempt because they don't fund or underwrite a loan. So let's say if there's a broker, they have the MLO work for them, right? And eventually they go out and they find an investor to fund this loan, right? They are the broker, they the middleman, right? They don't collect that information for their use. They collect it on behalf of the lender, right? So they don't keep track of those records, so they don't have to report it, but the lender does. Okay, must provide when an application filled out, the lender must provide like home loan toolkit, the charm booklet, right? The home ownership counseling, and how many counselor name need to be on the home ownership counseling page. At least 10 counselor names, 10 contact information. Okay, so I have a number 10 in here. right? Need to have at least 10. Okay, because due to the fact that, if you remember 2008, the borrowers, they don't know anything. They didn't know anything, right? So because of that, they just blindly get the loan, and that one of the reasons why the market was crashing. Then now that they have all this kind of information, outreach programs that the borrower can go and get consultation. Okay. Questions on a borrower application, including employment and income. Okay, where do you work? How much do you make? You give me the 1099, give me the W-2, give me your tax return of any business record. How long have you been on the job? Because some of the lenders, some of the loan program require that you need to be on the job at least a year or two, right? Otherwise, you have to show me some additional document, your recent graduate, your recent offer, and any like bank statements, and anything that prove that your income is stable. Okay. How is your income derived, right? Is it steady salary? Is it a gig economy, seasonal, right? Or something that irregular income? Okay, so meaning that fluctuate. It doesn't, the same across all paycheck. Debt, right? Some of the question regarding to debt. What recurring debt that you have? Auto loan, alimony, student loan, credit cards, saving and asset. Okay, how much you have in your bank? How much do you have saved? 401k, stock, bond, mutual fund, and other investment accounts. Okay, down payment. How much do you have for down payment? What is your plan for down payment? Do you have enough money for down payment? Do you have any source of funding that show that you have enough money for the down payment? Right? How much do you have saved in the? And I'm sorry. What does the down payment money comes from? Right? Sometimes when they ask for the 401k, because like you don't exactly able to pull out the money from the 401k, but due to the fact that there's some risk associated to the borrower, then the lender may require a reserve. Sometimes the reserve is 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months, right? 401k is a great source to use as the reserve, right? If you have to liquidate your 401k, you can do it too. Okay, so they need to have a 401k statement. Say, okay, we need, let's say if you have a mortgage payment of $3,000 a month, then they require that you have 6 months or 9 months or 12 months of reserve. So let's say if it's 6 months, 3,000 a month, meaning that you have what, 18,000 in reserve. So if you can show a 401k statement that show that your 401k account is at $30,000, then that should be enough, to use as a source, for reserve. Okay. The loan purpose. What are the purpose of this loan? Right? Are you borrowing to buy a home, or you are planning to do a refinance? Okay, 2 categories: purchase, refi. Okay. If it's a refi, right, do you want to take cash out or just refi? Okay. If so, how much do you want to take out? Do you plan to use the cash to further financial goals, or paying off the credit, or remodeling the home? There are several items in the category of why you take out the money. The majority of the people, they just say home improvement for quick and easy. Okay. And sometimes they take the money out and they use that money to down for the next home. Okay. Also, question on borrower application, including what's the address? The address that you're going to purchase, or the address that you're going to refi. Do you plan to live in the house, year round, or is it investment or vacation property? So sometimes a person can own a primary residence, an investment property, a second home, right? You may have a home in California, San Diego, or you can have the second home in Hawaii, right? It's more like a vacation home. Second home, vacation home, kind of similar in a way, right? And let me see. And then nowadays that you have also home that you do Airbnb, consider as the investment property too. right? Is it a house, a duplex, duplex or a condominium, a co-op, right? We talk about co-op, right? Co-op or unit on the high rise. Is there any co-borrower, right? Because like a person, when you buy a house, sometimes you not qualified, or the borrower is not qualified to buy a home using his or her personal income or finance, right? That that person may need the second person as a co-borrower, can either be a wife, a partner, could also be mom and dad, sister, brother, right? Anybody can be a co-borrower, right? And that co-borrower needs to provide the same exact information as the borrower. Okay, what is the closing time frame? How quickly do you want to close? Sometimes the offer say that we're going to close in 21 days. Sometimes we say close in 30, 45 days. And in the competition world, we say 17 days, 14 days. Okay, so we need that information so that when we process a loan, we try to push it as hard as we could. Okay, how MLO accept loan application? Several ways, through a web or through email. Okay, or even fill it out by writing on it. Print it out, fill it out. Okay, and also offering and negotiating the term of the loan. MLO gonna search all the best loan possible out there from many different lenders. Okay, and MLO offer the loan with a certain characteristic. What's the loan type? What's the loan rate? What's the loan term? The cost associated with it. The cost eventually going to add with the rate become an APR. Okay, is there any discount point? Maybe your financial here allow that you're gonna get a 6.35 or 6.375 for a purchase. But if you pay additional $5,000, you may bring it down to 6.125 or even 6.0, right? What is the purpose of having a discount point? Okay, the purpose of having a discount point is that you pay an upfront fee to lower the rate. Okay, the goal is that if you think that you're gonna keep this loan for at least 5 years or more, okay, then you pay the discount point, right? It's gonna save you, the long way, right? But if you think that you're gonna purchase this home at a high interest rate, and you're kind of guessing that 6 months from now, 12 months from now, the rate gonna drop, right? You don't want to pay that fee to lower the rate, but just take on the rate at ease, and then 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 18 months from now, right? You as a borrower will try to do a refinance and then drop the rate without have to lose that $5 or $6,000. Okay, so depending on the purpose, the strategy that the borrower, the MLO work together, kind of help out, how things, work out with the loan, the refinance, and all that. Okay, and what's the lock time frame? Because you can lock the rate 15 days. If you lock 15 days, the rate is low. If you lock 30 days, the rate a little bit higher. But if you lock 45 days, the rate is high. Is the highest. Okay, so depending on the lock time frame, the rate change. Okay, loan credit, loan cost, right? If it's a loan credit, does the lender give any credit back to the borrower? Sometimes they do, right? If you get no credit, no fee, no point, maybe you get a 6.375. But if you get a 6.875, you may get like $3,000 credit from the lender, and you can use that money, take the higher rate, use that money, and then pay for closing costs. Okay, that is one of the strategy too. But you say, okay, maybe I'll refinance down the road, then I'll just do it now, right? Get the credit. If not, you don't feel that you're gonna refinance. You may think that you may lose a job, or you don't have make good money down the road. Then try to lock it in, try to buy down. It's the best idea, best strategy. Okay. Okay, how MLO manage information on an application, right? Request for all supported documents so that you can verify and go through them. Go through all the collected information, request a 4506C. What is a 4506C? Keep this in mind. 4506C is a form, a consent form from the borrower, say that it's okay for the lender, for the broker, for the MLO to send a request to the IRS to say, Mr. Uncle Sam, I need the the tax record from Mr. John Doe here, right? And here's my consent. Here's my 4506C form that the borrower filled out and signed and allow me to pull information from the past tax records, like maybe the last year and the year before. Usually you only need 2 years. Okay, so the 4506C is a form to request for a consent so that you can pull that record from the IRS. Okay, ask for additional clarification as needed. Permissible question on an application. Okay, you believe it or not, you don't ask, are you married? Okay, are you a man? Are you a woman? Okay, typically you don't ask those kind of questions. Okay, because it's part of the discrimination. But guess what? If you fill out the application, right? You look at that person. You see that person is a man. You mark it in the application as a male. If you see that person as a female, you mark in the application as a female, but you don't ask because it's discrimination. So it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Right? You don't ask, but you just know and you just do it. You may guessing that person is an Asian, and you just mark it Asian, right? But like I say, nowadays we offer everything online, and people just kind of figure it out. Okay, how MLO? Okay, then we already did that. Question related to the application, including personal information, employment, income, assets, debts, liability, credit history. Cannot ask for race, religion, nationality, and family status. The bottom line. Remember that. You cannot ask those questions. It's kind of strange, but yes, you cannot ask those questions. If you see that person up front, just mark it. But you don't ask the question because it's part of discrimination. Strange, right? Okay, so part of the loan inquiry, including verify the documents, the form used to authorize and release information, including the credit check consent, the 4506C, and the e-signature consent. This needs to be ink, okay? And this could be provided by the escrow officer, right? Sent to the borrower to sign it. So because we're talking about the e-sign law, e-sign act, right? Nowadays that we can do everything electronically. But before we doing that, we need an ink sign. Say, I'm allowed you to do the e-sign. Okay, you don't e-sign and e-sign consent. Okay, remember that. Okay, methods of verifying income and assets. In order to confirm your income, a mortgage lender will request a few documents. A good way to remember the documentation you will need is to remember the 222 rule. 2 years of W-2. Remember 222. If you're playing cards, that's the going get back on get. Okay, do right. 2 years of W-2, 2 years of tax return, and the 2 most recent pay stub. 222. Everything is 2. Okay, but some loan programs only require 1. For instance, right? There's a loan program say I only need 1 pay stub, but I also need 1 year of tax return. Okay, by having that, it's more than enough for the lender to fulfill that loan program requirement. Okay. Okay, 2 most recent pay stub, the percentage of bank account asset attributed toward a loan application, including the down payment and the closing cost. Okay, method of verifying the employment. Okay, and we have questions that say, okay, how am I going to verify your employment, right? Give me your HR contact number, email. Okay, continue. Suitability of products and program. We talk about this, right? Big time. Conventional loan program, including conforming, meet the loan limit. Non-conforming, pass the loan limit. Jumbo, which is a jumbo. Government-backed loan, including FHA, VA, USDA, right? Non-traditional loan, including non-QM loan and ARM loans. reflecting the type of loan on a mortgage application, indicating the best qualified loan type of the application, including what's the rate, what's the APR. APR is the fees, loan term, how long is this loan going to be, loan cost, how much they're going to pay to, to get a better rate, right? Or, to do the appraisal, to get the credit, and so on. Okay. Some other things, including, okay, is there any prepayment penalty? What is the reserve cash that you need? What is the rate cap if it's an ARM? What's the payment cap if it's a adjustable rate, right? And okay, we talked about this in one of the class too, big time, about the tolerance, the accuracy, right? Everything on the disclosure need to be accurate, right? Scenario for and which allowable tolerance. So we talk about tolerance, zero tolerance, right? Including the creditor charges for its own services, or the lender's charges for its own services, which cannot exceed the creditor estimates. Okay, 10% tolerance, right? Charges for settlement services, right? From a third party, the thing that you can shop for. No tolerance means no limit. You can charge as much as you could. Okay. Service charge subject to 10% tolerance, including the recording fee that the title company is going to go to the county and record the title change, right? A third party fee, right, is maximum 10% tolerance. Okay. We had a section like this, in one of the law, class session. Okay, and just deep dive into here a little bit. The tolerance rules, including, okay, let's go from right to left. Okay, zero tolerance, right? May not be increased, need to be exact. Okay, require services paid to the creditor, broker, origination fee charges, right? Require services paid to an affiliated third party, that you cannot shop for, like appraisal, right? Transfer tax, that is the tax that's set by the county. Okay, 10% tolerant, cumulative category, including recording fees can be changed, right, within the 0 to 10%. An affiliated third party that you use for notary or inspection, unlimited to tolerant, like any service that require an outside company, a prepay interest, right, depending on which day of the month that you're going to close, right? You're going to pay prepay interest, the property tax, the insurance that you're going to prepay as well. Okay, so those kind of thing is in the tolerance category. Okay, disclosure, right? Trade. We need to follow that. When an application is complete, 3 business days, right? Right after the application complete, you need to send out the LE, loan estimate. But also 3 business days before close of escrow, that you need to send out the CD. Okay. The trade rule allow creditor update the closing disclosure, right, in certain circumstances without trigger an additional 3 business day waiting period. Okay, some change on the closing disclosure that that before the closing of before the settlement, before the close of the loan, right? Something that you change on that doesn't require to redisclose. Okay, but something does require, like you change in the rate, if you change in any of the fees that require a redisclose, and you have to do that. Okay. If the loan APR becomes inaccurate, comparing from the initial CD, a corrected CD must be issued with an additional 3 business days, right? Let's say the first CD that you send out, right, and then it's inaccurate, right, and you have to send it out before the 3-day close, before the 3-day end, right? Now you have to correct it, and you send out a corrected CD, and then you get another 3 days. Okay. And you have to meet that timeline. You cannot say that, okay, I just sent it out, I close it now, or I close the next day. You have to wait 3 days before you can close after the CD is sent out. Okay, timing of an early disclosure. Lender must provide a home loan toolkit to the applicant within 3 business days of application. Okay, Timing of notification of action taken. 3 business day period before closing is intended to provide consumer with sufficient time to identify whether and how the terms of their loan or their transaction may have changed from what the creditor or mortgage broker has previously promised or disclosed to them. The treat rule allows the creditor to update the CD, per certain circumstances without triggering the additional 3 business days. If the APR become inaccurate, we talk about that, or other changes to the CD may be without an additional 3 days, right? Put a corrected CD must be provided. You don't have to add another 3 days, right? Some of the items that we can doesn't need an additional 3 days, but you have to provide the corrected CD, right, within that time frame. Timing of early disclosure, lender must provide a home loan toolkit within 3 business days of application. Loan estimate, right? When the application is complete, loan estimate need to go out within 3 days, including all the disclosures, right? You can deliver by email, electronic, even face-to-face. By standard mail, it's 7 days, right? Overnight delivery can be done too. Nowadays, we're using email and mainly email that we can just send it out. Okay, closing disclosure. When applicants are entitled to advanced inspection of a closing disclosure. Initial closing disclosure, timing of disclosure is 3 business days. Final disclosure is 3 business days before close, right, including all the term, cost, and payment. Time frame of providing updated closing disclosure 4 business days before close of escrow. Okay, here is a 4 business day, right? Is the time frame of providing an updated foreclosure. Okay, so when you have a question in the test, they say how many days that you need to send out the CD, and you say 3 days. But it's asked you another question: how many days that you can send out for an updated CD? You say 4 business days. Okay, business day here means all calendar days except Sundays. Sundays only Sunday, except Sunday and legal public holiday, such as New Year Day, the Martin Luther King Jr. we just passed, Washington birthday, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veteran Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day, and not my birthday. Okay, remember that. Okay, so Saturday does include as a business day because the bank work on Saturday too. Homeownership counseling disclosure. Gotta have a list of 10 counseling agencies. Okay, remember number 10 counseling agencies. Woo! We just went through the 1003 and all the required disclosure and all that. And we done early today, 10 minutes early. Awesome. Anybody have any question for me? You got 10 minutes of my time, my live time, for any questions. Anything. Come on, don't be shy. Nobody? Nobody have a question? If you don't have a question, I can show you something, okay? For the cash, for the cash, how can they prove? Literally, they cannot. But the way they can prove is that, okay, you say that you have $20,000 in cash. Okay, prove it. And then you can say, I have this cash. First question is, how long did you have this cash? Like 5 years. Okay, where this cash coming from? From my tips. How much you make a tip per day? Let's say $50. Okay, then now they have enough information to calculate how much in 5 years, $50 a day. How many days you work a week? 6 days. Okay, they just do that. They multiply by 6. They multiply by 4 for 4 weeks, and they multiply by 12 for a year. They multiply by 5 for 5 years, and they say, okay, is your number matching with my calculation? That's how they prove it. But no, literally, the chance of showing that you have cash on hand for source of funding is rare. Okay, it's really hard. Yep. I forecast now. Hey, as long as if they claim that money in the IRS in the tax form, that should be okay. Okay, because that is something that you need to report. If you look at the tax form and say, okay, you just say that you have 20,000 for 5 years, you divide that by 5, so each year you have that much. That's fine too. Okay, good question. And like I say, majority of the time you just have to put the money in the bank. Let me before I do anything else, let me upload this file again for whom came in late. Okay, and I'm gonna stop recording and I want to show you something. Since we have some extra time.